Breaking news, Columbia Green Federal Credit Union just saved our member $105 a month on their car payment.
That's no surprise. CGFCU helps our members save thousands.
Wait, thousands?
Yep, we have fantastic rates and flexible terms.
We save our members by refinancing autos, boats, campers, and even credit cards.
Apply today, see how much you can save.
Back to the press box, presented by Columbia Green Federal Credit Union. Now we're 2 weeks into the football season, and this past weekend we had quite a few games that were a bit of surprises. We expected things to go a certain way, and still early in the season, still everybody's kind of figuring each other out, figuring yourself out, see what you have. And but let's run through some of these scores. Chatham had a big game, 54-0 over Coxsackie-Athens.
Yeah, it's interesting because after that game, because I was at the Hudson game,
right,
and Justin Perica, our colleague, was at the Chatham game. I got a message from Patty Bailey, the CA coach, and he was just talking about how really impressed he was with this Chatham team, that they're the real deal. I mean, not like that was any surprise to him. He knew going in what they were going to be, but they're the real deal. People ask me, like, is Chatham really that good, or is it the competition they're playing? Granted, maybe the competition in the South Division isn't as strong this year, man for man, as it has been in the past, but make no mistake about it, Chatham is the real deal. They've got a little of everything. As I mentioned, an all-state type quarterback in Caleb Taylor. You have a great running back, a stable of running backs, good receivers, a very strong, aggressive offensive and defensive line. Defensively, they fly to the ball, a lot of gang tackling, excellent coaching staff. They even have a kicker. They can kick and kick field goals and extra points and punt.
You're deep enough to have all of that plus a kicker, and they're going to be a tough team to beat, especially through regular season. They could easily go 7-0 into the playoffs.
There's really nothing they're lacking. And I personally, I think they will be 7-0, and that's no knock on any of their forthcoming opponents. It's just that Chatham is that good. And like I said, 7-0, I feel, going into the playoffs. And after that, you never know, because Class C is extremely tough. And,
it is.
But Chatham will be up for the test. You've got Cambridge, you've got Holy Trinity, which played this past weekend. Two great teams right there with great heritage. I mean, just two really good programs that are going to be tough to deal with. But Chatham's going to be tough to deal with. And I, for one, can't wait till they get to the playoffs and see what they can do against some of these upper-level teams in the Class C bracket.
Now, Hudson and Ichabod both coming off losses, come into this game facing each other at Hudson. Pretty good game.
Yeah, much improved Ichabod Crane team, and the Hudson team weren't really sure what to expect. In the office, we were talking about that because Hudson has talent. They don't have a lot of numbers.
Lost their first game 12-0, but against an A school also.
Against an A school that was a double A last year in Columbia. So a good, strong team that they lost to. They couldn't get their offense in gear that particular game when they lost 12-0 to Columbia, but they got it together in a hurry in week 2 against Ichabod Crane. And as I mentioned, the Riders coming off a game that was very winnable and very nearly was a win for them in losing to Green Tech, a Class A school, a very talented Class A school, in week 1. They lost that one 22-20. So coming in, it seemed like a perfect storm. Like Hudson, you don't know what to expect. Ichabod is a new coaching staff, some good players, and coming into Hudson fired up. You can almost feel it in the pregame workouts. That Ichabod's not going to back down from Hudson. They've really took it on the chin in the last several years. In fact, I think the last win over Hudson was back in 2012. So Hudson's had their way with the Riders, and actually it turned out to be that way again, although Ichabod did put on a good showing. Hudson came out, first drive right down the field, and my man James Robinson did a great job in that game at running back, filling in for Tyler Blue, who was injured on the game's opening kickoff, and he didn't come back. So James came in, stepped in, and did a great job. Ichabod came right back. Donovan Brown, who's a very talented young man, took the ensuing kickoff, 87 yards, and we're tied 6-6. And I'm like, okay, buckle up your seatbelts. We're in for a good one here tonight. But from that point on, the Hudson defense did a great job, had an answer for everything. Ichabod Crane tried. The Riders had a few drives, but nothing that would lead you to believe that they were going to take over the game. And Hudson took advantage of a couple of turnovers, had a quick 3-play, 84-yard drive to end the first half. That was all James Robinson running, aided by a penalty. and that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, Hudson just methodically took over the game after Donovan Brown's kickoff return for a touchdown and did what it had to do to pull it out. And so Hudson's 1-1 and 1-0 in the division.
Yep. That was a 25-6 game.
25-6.
On Saturday, we had County Kills and Voorheesville. County Kills played well.
Yep.
I think they was tied 0-0 through the third quarter.
Right.
Voorheesville finally broke it open, ends up 13-0 in favor of the Blackbirds. So the County Kills are looking at 0-2 going into week 3. Over in Helderberg Valley,
Yep.
we had Catskill Cairo-Durham went out there. They're coming off a high note. They won their first game, won the
Yeah.
Green County Cup, and going up against also Helderberg Valley. Nobody really knows what they have every year. They're a bit obscure, but Helderberg Valley came out and laid it on them 46-12.
Right.
So Catskill Cairo-Durham 1-1 now, going into week 3. But there's a lot to be said about that Catskill Cairo-Durham team.
No question about it. They came out and won their first game against Coxsackie-Athens. It got that monkey off their back as far as like that long state longest losing streak.
Yep.
So they got that out of the way. And I just want to say again to the parents and the fans of the team, don't look down on this and think that, okay, here we go again. No, it's a new coaching staff, a lot of new players, so there's going to be some growing pains. This in particular was one of them. Helderberg Valley is no slouch. I mean, it's a hybrid, a football hybrid between Duanesburg and Burn Knox Westerlo.
Right.
It used to be Skoberg. When Schoharie was involved, they dropped out, and then Burn Knox came on board along with Duanesburg, and they have some talent. They scored 21 against a very good Voorheesville team in week 1, lost 38-21. But Alex Monroe, the quarterback, is very good. They got a couple of good receivers, a decent running back, and they took it to Catskill Cairo-Durham. But that can, you can almost expect something like that to happen with a new team, a lot of new players, and new coaching regime, and there will be some bumps in the road. But make no mistake about it, they'll be heard from, and they'll give some teams some problems as the season goes on.
They definitely will. Now, before we get to this coming week's games, you want to kind of highlight some of these, maybe the top 5 guys that we have going in from last week, top 5 performers. What we got?
The aforementioned James Robinson from Hudson. As I mentioned, James was going to play running back, but he wasn't going to start this game. He got to start when Tyler Blue went down on the game's opening kickoff with a leg injury. He came in and stepped up, and he might not give that job back. I mean, he came in, and he's a big kid, tall kid, about 6'1" or so, a good 200-some pounds.
And what year is James?
James is junior. James is junior. And his younger brother, Isaiah, I want to talk about him, too. He's a young linebacker, freshman, made some plays. And you can see he belongs on varsity. He's not one of these kids that, there's a little skinny freshman out there. Absolutely. He contributed and hurt himself at the end of the game. Hope he's all right for sure. Good thought for him. But James came out, 20 carries, 152 yards, a couple of touchdowns, played well on defense as well. He really stepped up and gave Hudson exactly what it needed, especially in light of the fact that their starting running back, Tyler Blue, went down so early in the game. I mean, instead of panicking, they inserted James, and James, took control.
Not a bad debut.
And I want to mention Hudson's got a couple of kids coming back this week that are now eligible to play in week 3, and I think you're going to see Hudson reel off a few victories in a row here. They've got talent.
Definitely.
But as far as the top 5, also I want to have to go to Chatham and our man Caleb Taylor. What can you say about this young man that hasn't been said already? I mean, he's talented on both sides of the ball. We all know about his ability as an all-state type quarterback. Had 4 of 7 passing for 70 yards, a couple of scores, ran for a 10-yard touchdown, but he also had a couple of interceptions on defense. Has 3 for the year now, including 1 for a touchdown in week 1. Again, to use the old tired sports cliche, he's a guy that can do it all, basically.
Absolutely.
And, great kid, and looking forward to again watching him. This is his senior year. If you get a chance to see a Chatham game this year, you want to go out and watch them and look for number 8. Also want to look for number 33 in the backfield, Tristan Skimmerhorn, another one of our top 5 guys. He had 5 carries, 88 yards, a couple of scores, also caught a 7-yard touchdown pass. Another kid that if you give him, just keep feeding him the ball, Chatham doesn't need to because they have so many other weapons, but you feed him the ball 20 times, he's going to get you 100 to 200 yards, catch a couple of passes out of the backfield. Very, very versatile, physical, strong player that's definitely going to be looked upon maybe in some all-state circles,
definitely.
As somebody that can really do it all, and defensively as well. We have also from Hudson, we have Charles Goodermo. Charles had a big game. He was the starting quarterback last year, played a lot there, played a little bit there on Friday night against Crane, but his primary position nowadays is his wideout.
Yeah.
He's one of those kids that you can put him anywhere. He's just at the skill positions, very, very good. He had 5 catches, 104 yards, a couple of touchdowns.
Yep.
He also rushed the ball 27 yards, and another guy that can do just about anything.
Yeah.
You want to get this kid the ball. He's very, very fast, very elusive. Get him the ball in space and look out and enjoy the show.
Definitely.
And also want to give a shout out to Devin Sharon of Taconic Hills. Now, Taconic Hills didn't generate much offense in week 1 or week 2, but he had defensively had a couple of solo tackles, 3 solo tackles to be exact. He had an interception return for 60 some odd yards, and he had a catch for 12 yards. So shout out to Devin. Even though the Titans are struggling a bit right now, the first couple of weeks of the season offensively, he's getting it done on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, definitely is. Now moving on to next week, we have a lot of games. Nobody's playing each other this week, so we have full slate of 6 games. Everybody's heading out. Helderberg Valley at CA. Helderberg Valley's played tough against just recently against Catskill Cairo-Durham, and then the first week against Warriorsville. So Coxsackie could be in for a bit of a fight on Friday night.
Oh, well, obviously, Helderberg Valley can score. They can put up some points. I mean, they can give up some points, too, which might play in the CA's favor because the Indians, even though they were shut out against Chatham, a lot of teams are going to be shut out against Chatham, okay?
Right.
But they scored 34 points, almost, and maybe should have won that first game. That's going to be the one that got away for the Indians, I think, as the season wears on. But this should be an interesting matchup. I could see... again, both teams scoring 30-some-odd points in this game. So kind of a shootout there. And, again, it's CA's home opener on their brand new field. You got new turf in there. They got you got the lights. You got the new stands, a new press box, looking good. Gonna be a really nice night. On Friday night over at CA. Get out there if you can.
Definitely. In total, we have 5 games on Friday night. Right. So we also have Waterfleet at Taconic Hills, which should be a pretty good game. Yep. Another tough one, kind of for Taconic Hills, starting out their first 3 weeks. And then Catskill Cairo-Durham, they're heading out to Section 4 of Walton, which another one of those teams is kind of we don't know a whole lot about because we don't play them, ever.
We know about their past. I mean, this is a team that actually has won state titles and has been a juggernaut in Class C and then in Class D through the years. In fact, some football historians and those with memories will know that in 1994, this Walton program defeated Hudson for the Class C state championship out of the cairo-durham in Syracuse, 28-18. That was the Leroy Collins team. Leroy Collins team of Hudson. But Walton's had a coach by the name of James Hoover that's been there a long time. He stepped down a couple of years ago. So again, a new broom sweeps clean. They got a new program and a new regime in there, and of course new kids that come through every year through the cycle. So they've been up and down the last couple of years. So I'm sure Catskill Cairo-Durham will go out there and give it all they got. But who knows what to expect from this team? I'm sure the coaches have some film, but
the old state championship type teams, or could be another team that's on a downswing coming in here. So we'll find out. Just
like Taconic Hills found out against Whitney Point, they had the state's longest losing streak broken last September, September of 2017, and since then they've won like 4 or 5 games.
Right.
So they're getting better.
Those guys, Now we have Shelmont going to Ichabod. That's going to be a tough game for Ichabod because Shelmont is one of the better teams in the area.
Yeah.
So good luck to the Ichabod Green Riders on Friday night.
Riders, they're home openers, so they'll have a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of momentum. Hopefully, a good crowd showing up. Chalmont's going to be tough to beat for everybody. I wouldn't be surprised to see Chalmont going 7-0, maybe even winning Class B in Section 2 this year. They'll have a fight on their hands from a few teams, but to me, right now, Chalmont might be the team to beat, even more so than Glens Falls. They are a tough team, and the big, strong kids. They have a good backfield and quarterback. Shane Odell, who's a great basketball player. He's a pretty good quarterback as well. So Chalmont's going to be tough to beat.
Yep, but don't expect Ichabod to roll over. They haven't rolled over, and they won't to any team. So we do expect a tough team going in there Friday. We also have Hudson hosting Lansingburg coming up on Friday night. And then we move on to Saturday. The lone Saturday game will be Chatham at Voorheesville, which will be another good showing for the Panthers. And expect them to come out 3-0 going into week 4. Yeah,
Voorheesville has some weapons. They're a quarterback. They don't throw the ball a whole lot, but they can. They're certainly capable. But Ian Owens, their quarterback, had nearly 300 yards rushing in one game in week 1 against Helderberg Valley. Jake Palmer, their running back, is very good. So Chatham has some players they have to look out for, but I don't see them having a problem against Voorheesville. Maybe Voorheesville will finally score against that Chatham defense. They've pitched 2 shutouts so far.
80-plus points points to nothing.
Exactly.
So.
That's right. And so I think Voorheesville has the capability of scoring, but I think maybe that might be all they have to look forward to.
Yeah,
I think Chatham's going to win going away.
Yeah, definitely. So we'll see you back here on the press box next week. We can cover some of those games and get you looking forward to week 4. We'll catch you next time.